What do you do when you hit a brick wall? If it's any consolation, we've all been there. That moment when you are sat at your desk staring at an assignment and you have absolutely no idea where you're going to start. And the weird thing is, you thought you got it in class. It kind of all made sense. But this question, this problem you have to solve, it's not in your notes. It's not like any of the worked examples. And the textbook is being absolutely useless. It's at times like these when your emotional brain can start to kick in, particularly if assignments are piling up, deadlines are looming, and you start to feel anxious. Panic starts to set in. And your emotional brain begins a really unhelpful conversation. It starts saying things to you like, you picked the wrong subject. Why did you think you could do chemistry? Your math skills aren't good enough. You've never been any good at problem solving. You're just not bright enough. So what do you do? When I was your age, the first thing I would do was reach for a family-sized pack of chocolate hobnobs and slowly work my way through them because, hey, brains need sugar. However, that may not be the best answer. Over 2,000 years ago, Hippocrates said, if you're in a bad mood, go for a walk. And if you're still in a bad mood, go for another walk. And that advice holds true for mental blocks. Because by giving yourself a break and getting your body moving, you give your rational brain an opportunity to take over, to put the emotional brain to bed. The neuroscientist Wendy Suzuki says that the most powerful thing that you can do for your brain today is to exercise, to move that body. Because when you do, you start to build and strengthen two key areas of your brain. The prefrontal cortex, which is critical for decision making and focus and rational thinking. And the hippocampus, which is the area of the brain that's responsible for memory, for learning, and for regulating your emotions. And although regular exercise is going to bring you the most benefits, a single burst of exercise is going to boost your productivity and your focus and reset those brain cells. So next time that you have a mental block, what is it that you're going to do? You're going to get up and move your body. So go do some yoga, go for a walk, go for a run, go and play football, hit the gym, whatever it is, get the blood pumping. You need to develop a mindset in which these brick walls and these academic obstacles and challenges become to be seen as an opportunity to strengthen your intellectual skills. And this next bit is really key. You need to believe very strongly that your IQ is not fixed. It's merely a snapshot on this journey of where you are right now. I have a mantra, and that is that success is inevitable. I wholeheartedly believe that life has a funny habit of working its way out. With a little self-belief and a lot of hard work, you'll end up in the right place. How you get there and where exactly that might be might not be what you thought it was, but that's the exciting part. So the key to overcoming these obstacles and these challenges is to build your intellectual skills. But what are intellectual skills? The most basic ones, the foundation skills, are knowledge, which is learning stuff, and comprehension, actually understanding what you learn. A lot of people can get through GCSEs by just learning stuff. And that's where they come unstuck at A-level, because at A-level you really need to understand what you're learning. The next skill is critical thinking, so being able to analyse information in terms of its context and its bias. But in my view, the most important two which come together are problem solving and thinking creative, and they are absolutely key. These are the skills that we're building at A-level, and you won't have them all sorted straight out. But these are the skills that your rational brain is going to employ to help you get through these roadblocks, to help you get to grips with the really difficult stuff you're going to come across at A-level. And they're also the two skills that your emotional brain is absolutely hopeless at employing when you need it most. So when you're sat back at your desk, simply redoubling your efforts may not be the answer, especially if your understanding is a little bit superficial and your strategy is flawed. There are 5 key questions that you can ask yourself. What do I actually know about this? What's the next logical step? What do I need to know in order to solve this problem or answer this homework assignment? Where am I going to find this information? And critically, who can help me? A good starting point is to read around the subject and to read more deeply. And a word of caution here. A-level textbooks, or certainly A-level chemistry textbooks, are about a third of the size they were 20 years ago. And what's in them seems to me to be mainly pretty pictures and large text and diagrams. You could learn a chemistry A-level textbook inside out and back to front, and you'd be doing well to get a grade C or D at A-level. So you need to find some reliable other sources of information. There are a number of really good websites out there. You can use YouTube, but be really careful of 3-minute quick fix YouTube videos, because you might strike lucky. You might find exactly the video that answers the question that you need to do. You can get your homework done and submitted and forget all about it. But if you don't go back to first principles, if you don't leave that assignment genuinely understanding everything there is, or at least having a series of questions that you're going to go and ask your teacher or your peers to sort out so you can get that deep level of understanding, you are building your house on sand, and it will all come crashing down, believe me. I learnt this the hard way, not during my A-levels, but when I got to university. I was completely and utterly lost in the first paragraph of the first lecture in a course called Statistical Thermodynamics. So did I go away and build up my maths knowledge and skills and figure out what I needed to do to access this course? Absolutely not. No, I decided that I would learn it all parrot fashion, worked examples and all. Unfortunately, during my A-levels, this had proven a fairly successful strategy, but no longer. When I got into the exam, sheer panic overwhelmed me, and I realised I didn't even know what the symbols in the equations stood for, so I couldn't relate any of the stuff I'd learnt to the question in hand. It was a massive crash and burn. However, I learnt a lot that day, and that was that sometimes you can't get an assignment or a homework or something done in the time that you've set aside for it. You can't get it done in 30 minutes or an hour. You need to go away and think about it and come back the next day. It might take 3 or 4 hours. You might have to go completely off grid in order to find the information and build up your knowledge, fill in those gaps. Which brings me to getting yourself organised. At A-level, you definitely do not want to be in a position where you are doing all your homeworks the night before they're due in, because quite often you are going to need to go away and think about it and come back. And you'll be amazed that once you have gone off to do something completely different, and possibly a day or so later, how all these new ideas start popping into your brain. Whenever you're learning a new skill, there are new neural networks building in your brain, and the only way to strengthen those is through practice and challenge. In fact, the research is really clear that the harder it is for you to get your head around something in the beginning, the better you will remember it. So put the hard work in while you're actually working through these new concepts, because it will make it so much easier when you get to revision time. So it's not that you can't do it. Remember this, it's just perhaps that you can't do it yet. So reward yourself for all the little steps along this journey, for resilience, for persevering, for mastering these new skills, for being open to constructive criticism and for acting upon it, and for picking yourself up when you fall flat. So I hope this has been a useful little pep talk. If you're here for the chemistry, please hit subscribe. And if there's anything that you would like me to talk about, either on the kind of mentoring pastoral side of things or on the chemical side of things, then please drop a comment below and I will get to work.